All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are laying the absolute groundwork for any kind of effective athletic training. We're going to break down the must-know essential knowledge for anyone who's a coach, a trainer, or even just a serious athlete. And we're pulling all of this from the NSCA's own foundational guide. Let's do this.
You know, everything really boils down to this one question. See, anybody can make someone tired. That's easy. But to actually create real, lasting, and, most importantly, safe improvement, well, that means you have to understand the fundamental rules of the game. And if you get these rules wrong, you're not just spinning your wheels, you're literally risking injury.
And this is a really critical point the NSCA manual makes right up front. The goal here isn't to turn you into some master programmer in an hour. No, it's to give you the tools to be a competent and safe supervisor. That is a very specific and, believe me, an incredibly important job.
So let's really break down what that means. Think of the expert as the architect. They're the ones designing the entire blueprint for a program, and they need that deep scientific knowledge to do it. The supervisor, though, you're the on-site foreman. You take that brilliant plan and you make it happen, focusing on every single rep, spotting flaws in technique, noticing fatigue, and just generally making sure everything is safe.
And this really puts it all into perspective. It's estimated that it takes about 10,000 hours of focused practice to get to a true expert level in just about anything. That's like a decade of work. So before we can even dream of designing world-class programs, we have to master the art and the science of being a great supervisor first.
This right here, this is basically the Hippocratic Oath for anyone in strength and conditioning. Before you even think about performance, before you chase PRs, before any other goal comes safety. This is the absolute #1 non-negotiable rule of the road.
Now, the good news is, in a well-managed program, major injuries are pretty rare, but they're always a possibility. So a supervisor's real job is to be a risk manager. You're using constant vigilance and your own good judgment to spot the little things, a little dip in form, a moment of exhaustion, before they have a chance to become big problems.
Okay, so we've poured the foundation of safety. Now, let's build the walls with the 6 fundamental principles of training. Seriously, think of these like the laws of physics for getting stronger and faster. They govern everything.
First up is the principle of individuality. Now, this sounds super obvious, but you'd be shocked how often it gets ignored. The bottom line is, no two people are the same. Things like your age, your gender, how long you've actually been training, even your injury history, all of these things dramatically change how your body's going to respond to the exact same workout. And here is a perfect real-world example of that. Let's say a college football star hands his crazy intense workout program to his 15-year-old little brother. The results are not going to be the same. Why? Because the younger brother isn't just a mini version of the older one. His body is in a completely different place developmentally. What's perfect for one could be totally useless or even dangerous for the other.
Next, we've got the principle of specificity. You might hear this called the SAID principle. That stands for specific adaptations to imposed demands. Basically, your body is an incredibly efficient machine, but it's also very, very literal. It only adapts to the exact stress you put on it. It gets better at precisely what you ask it to do and not a whole lot else.
And this is the classic example, right? If you want to get faster at running a 100-meter dash, you've got to sprint. Going for long, slow 3-mile jogs just isn't going to cut it. That trains a totally different energy system, different muscle fibers, the whole shebang. The training has to match the goal. It's that simple and it's that specific.
Okay, now let's talk about the engine that actually drives all improvement forward. It's a 2-part process, and they have to work together. First, you've got overload. You have to challenge your body with a stimulus, whether that's more weight, more speed, whatever, that's greater than what it's used to. But that's just step 1. To keep improving, you have to apply progression, which means you gradually and intelligently increase that overload over time. They're a team. Without overload, your body has no reason to change, and without progression, you just hit a plateau.
This next principle is a big one for managing expectations. It's the law of diminishing returns, and it's simple. When you're a beginner, the gains come fast and they feel easy. But the more advanced you get, the closer you get to your own genetic potential, the harder you have to work for smaller and smaller bits of improvement.
This example from the manual just makes it so clear. A college freshman, in their first year of real training, might add a massive 8 inches to their vertical jump. That's huge. But to gain the next 8 inches, that could take the next 3 years of even more intense work. Those later gains are so much more impressive because they were so much harder to earn.
And finally, we have the principle of reversibility.
You probably know this one by its more famous name, use it or lose it. It's true. Your body is smart. It's not going to waste energy maintaining adaptations it doesn't need. So when you stop training, your muscles get smaller, your performance drops, and eventually you'll end up right back where you started. Consistency really is everything.
So, there you have it. Those are the 6 big rules for how the body adapts. Now let's peek under the hood and see what actually powers all this work. Just think of your body as having 3 different engines, or energy systems, that kick in to provide fuel.
Now here's the key thing to get. All 3 of these engines are technically on all the time. But depending on how intense and how long an activity is, one of those systems is going to step up and be the dominant one, the main provider of energy. And if you know which engine is in charge, you know how to train it.
This chart lays it out perfectly. First, you have your immediate system, the Phosphagen system. This is pure rocket fuel. It powers those super explosive, all-out efforts that last for 10 seconds or less. Think a 1-rep max squat or a lightning-fast sprint. Then the short-term, or glycolytic system, takes the baton for intense work that lasts from about 30 seconds to 2 minutes. This is your 400-meter run or a really tough set of 10 reps in the gym. And finally, you've got the long-term, or oxidative system. This is your marathon engine. It powers any sustained activity that goes longer than 2 minutes. So let's put this all together. Think of it like this. This is your foundational pyramid of knowledge. At the very bottom, you understand your role. You're a vigilant supervisor, not an expert designer. Your first and most important rule is safety first. Do no harm. Your guidebook, your instruction manual, is those 6 unbreakable principles of training we just talked about. And finally, your power source is understanding those 3 energy systems that fuel everything. If you can master these, you've mastered the essentials.
And that leads us to one final, really important question for you to think about. Now that you know these fundamental rules, individuality, specificity, overload, progression, diminishing returns, and reversibility, be honest with yourself. Which one have you, or maybe your current program, been ignoring? Because the answer to that question might just be the key that unlocks your next level of performance.